How old will you be in 2015?
About 22, 23.
You're late teens, early 20s. How will you know, how will you judge whether or not the Olympics have been a success? The excitement that you have now, or that is communicated to you now?
We will know when the Olympics is actually finished if it's been a success or not, because everyone will go away happy, thinking that they're going to come back to London just to look at the Olympic sites and everything. So people will be happy coming here. And I think the Great Britain medals as well, if we get any, that'll be a good sign for people to come back.
You always know for 2016, when the next one's going to come, people will come back to the London Olympics, and I think that will be the best time to know if it was a success, maybe right after the 2016 one. So we can hear people's thoughts on how it was back in 2012. So that would be a good time to see if it actually was a success, because even now, the Beijing one, you don't hear too much, or I don't hear too much about whether it was good or not. But that's basically probably because 2012 one hasn't happened yet. So there's nothing really to compare it to. But the most obvious ones, like if no one falls over or anything, you know. So the unobvious ones probably have to wait a while before we can find out how successful it was.
I'm not too sure. I just think if people come back after the Olympics, if people still stick around afterwards as well, it will show that we've had quite a success with the Olympics.
If people do come back, like as she said, it will show that it was a success. But I think if something went bad and they came back, they're just coming back to gloat. Like, say they come from the country that won, they'll just come back and laugh at London. It's just sad.
She just took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say, like, if something bad happens, like someone trips over, they'll come back and say, oh, this is the spot where so-and-so tripped over. But if nothing like that happens, or if they're mature enough to like go past it, then we'll know it's been a success. But if not.
What about, not thinking so much about what other people think of London, but of changes that you will see here that would indicate to you that it's been a good games for London, for East London, for Canning Town and for you? What would make you think, I'm really glad they had the Olympics, because what sorts of things might you expect, hope that you'll see have happened?
By the time the Olympics has fully gone, most of the people in my year may have children or whatever, because they'll be like in their 20s at some stage. And I think they can actually look at East London and say, I can bring my child up here. It's not as bad as it used to be. It's been improved, and most of the people that started trouble moved out. So it'll be good afterwards.
There could be a certain area where like the houses are kind of shut down, you know, like when they do that to the houses, and then like in 2016 or whatever, however old we are, we could walk past and say, oh, I remember when everybody used to go in that house and just do stupidness, and then we can just look at it and say, wow, what an improvement's been made. Almost one of them ones where people want to live in London, and then we can be like, oh, we live here, you know, especially after the Olympics are done. We can say we were here from the beginning, from the before and after perspective. It's almost a sense of, like, especially us in our youth, we get like the good sides and the bad sides of it. So I think that's a good benefit of being here now and being here afterwards.
Oh, I was just going to say about we'll be able to see that how like things have changed, because there'll be less like people in the streets like there are now. So there'll be more things to do around like London and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think after the Olympics, when people get to use the facilities that have been made, that'll be really good. Like decision and stuff like that. Well, everyone to use just to go there as a leisure centre, or like another one of our leisure centres.
So using the facilities.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you now, you as 5 people here in this room, where are you going to be in 2012?
Italy.
America.
University.
University and hopefully going to watch the games.
Hopefully I'll be running my own small business at 18.
Okay, that's great. And what about in 2020?
America. Yeah, America, definitely. I'll move there.
Yeah, we'll still be here, unfortunately, but
Unfortunately, you just said it was good.
Still here, but hopefully being a successful person in life.
Oh, I think I'll still be around here as well, watching the improvements and like trying to add to it really.
There's not going to be old women that just start cussing people. I'm just going to stay here.
It's only 2020. We'll only be in our 30s, right?
We're just going to grow old one day.
I mean, and one last question, because I know you've got another class. It's a shame because I'd like to talk to you longer. It's really, can you think of the part that the Olympics, or do you think the Olympics would have played a part in the story that you have about this optimistic future? Can you give an example maybe of where it might have helped you on the way?
And I think it's going to help, it's going to have helped us because ever since they announced that it was in London, I think loads of schools around in England have started new sports clubs, new sports events and things like that. So it's getting kids ready and if they want to take that path and to go into the Olympics, I think that's really pushed it for them to do that.
Just like that, like what she said, we do have a lot of the young mayor of Newham. I was reading in the Newham magazine, he was calling us yobs or something like that, and that's the new name for the kids that hang around on the street, and it's because we've got nothing to do. But like she said, a lot of people in different schools are getting ready for the Olympics and stuff, and they could just go down the right path instead of the wrong path and be a yob.
It's not of attention as well. Like someone who wants to go into sports, when they're older, can say, "Oh, I lived around the 2012 Olympics," or "My dad worked for the something something." So that's a good idea for people who live around here who are interested in going into sports when they're older, because they can always use that as a weapon. They lived around it and they saw what happened. So information and stuff like that. Yeah.
When you look at sports like basketball, like Michael Jordan and all that, they're all from America, but you could just, being here in London, having the Olympics is just wow, it's just really good, because it just goes to show that you don't have to go to America to be successful in a sports life anyway.
And are any of you thinking, have any of you made any plans to be involved with the Olympics? Not through sport, but because there's lots of things with the Olympics. You can volunteer to help visitors. You can, there'll be a lot of jobs around the sites and those sorts of things. Have any of you begun to think about that? Is that something and that's a few years ahead, but have any of you begun to think about the Olympics as you could actually be part of it rather than just spectators?
I was just thinking that after the Olympics being a sports event, it'll open up a lot of job opportunities, which is good because lots of young people are trying to get jobs at this time and nothing's working. So I think that'll be a good time to start to get a job.
I didn't think about trying to get involved in the Olympics. I didn't even think about spectating it, to be honest, but after being here, it's kind of changed my mind, and I'm not saying I'd like to be in one of the sports, but I wouldn't mind getting involved, like what you said.